God Almighty, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, be with you and remain with you now and forever.
Hi there everyone, Jack here again at the Vinyl Voyage. As promised, something a little bit different today. So the last couple of weeks all revolved around the psychedelic albums in my collection, or new albums that I was adding to the collection. Today is a look at the Greenock music scene of the late 80s, early 90s. Predominantly that's the era I'm going to look at. And Greenock was my hometown growing up. And in those years I was a young teenager, going to the gigs of these bands, getting their demo tapes, listening to their home recordings, and I just loved it. I loved all of that kind of thing. All of these bands that I'm about to show, I'm not really going to show them, I'm going to play them. I'm going to play some of these demos that have come from old cassettes, from CDs, that kind of thing. But all of these bands met with varying degrees of success. Now, one of the other reasons that I wanted to make this video is I showed this album a couple of weeks ago on my channel. It's the Green Pyjamas debut album from the early 80s called The Summer of Lust. This was originally a cassette only release. The songs on here are brilliant, so full of passion, so full of creativity that it doesn't really matter that it's a home recording, because sometimes when bands go into the studio, for me, something's lost. Some of that passion, some of that soul is lost in the recording process. And I think that's what I really loved about these bands that I'm about to show you now. They really managed to capture something in these demos or in these recordings that as a teenager I just played over and over and over again. And like I said, they really should have met with a wider audience. One of the other reasons that I was prompted to do this video now is that over the last couple of weeks I've had a couple of viewers ask me about the music that's played at the start of my videos. So that is by a band called The Commercials, who had sprung up out of the ashes of another band called Trouser Snake, and I think they merged with members of a band called Thrill Margin, and they became The Commercials, a wonderfully unique kind of indie band, I suppose, but with experimental tendencies. They released one album. It was called Backstabbing Prima Donna, which is absolutely a brilliant album, fantastic album. It was only ever released on CD though. And the number of singles, I think they released, was it 2 singles, The Power of Love and the single When I Saw Her Face, which I think was a Thrill Margin song. But yeah, they were a 4-piece band made up of Andrew Scully, Andrew McWhinney, Kenneth Martin and Craig Martin, and they are brilliant. They've got what a sound. Now, I'm going to play the song in full. The song's called Burning Love. I'm going to play it in full, however, I take no credit for the edit, because there's actually a movie about the Commercials, about the history of the band that was made up by the drummer, Craig Martin. So I'm going to leave a link in the description on how you can go over and to Craig's channel and watch the Commercials, the movie. It's absolutely brilliant the way he's put it all together. It's a really entertaining watch, whether you come from Greenock or whether you don't come from Greenock. It's got loads of great music in it, loads of great footage and the story behind the band. But this is the Commercials. what an absolute beauty of a song. It's never had an official release. That's just a demo. Never been on a single or an album or anything. And to me, that's unbelievable that a song that good has never had an official release. It's not been heard by a wider audience. Absolutely love it. Such a great track. Now, the next band that we're going to look at are arguably, certainly, the most commercially successful out of all the bands that we're going to talk about. For any Oasis fans out there, they may have heard of them before in a later incarnation, but we're going to talk about them when they were at the start. Because originally this band Whiteout that we're going to talk about were a 5-piece, a kind of mod pop sound to them. And they were mostly guys from Greenock and Greenock. And yeah, they were my kind of first band that I really, really got into. They were the first band that I ever went and saw live at a place called Toledo Junction. I had all their early demos, which I played to death. I had that Toledo Junction cassette recording, which I played to death. And my friends in school played it to death as well. And like I said, all their early demos. And they were always tipped to be a band that were going to get signed. And eventually they did get signed. They were signed by Silvertone Records. I think there was a bit of a bidding war for them. After the Stone Roses were kind of no more, Silvertone went for Whiteout. That's the band there. This is a later incarnation from the song that I'm going to play was an early demo. But they lost their drummer and got a new drummer, Stuart Smith, who's a good friend of mine. And they got a new guitarist, Eric Lindsay. And their old guitarist, Craig Jimison, who kind of lived quite near me, he was like the original songwriter and leader of the band. I believe now he owns a record shop in London called Peckham Soul, which by all accounts is a fabulous shop. But yeah, this is Whiteout. Like I said, their early incarnation of Whiteout. And this song that I'm going to play is called Soul for Sale. I had one of their demos before they kind of got signed. It wasn't one of their earliest demos, but there was a song, Soul for Sale, Changes, Feeling Real, and You Don't Give Me Nothing. All the songs on that from Park Lane Studios are absolutely brilliant. But there's earlier demos from those as well. Earlier demos that I've got, where are they? On this cassette. I think half of it's live, another half is earlier demos, which are absolutely phenomenal. I need to get one of those cassette converters to get those recorded. But anyway, enjoy the mod pop sounds of Whiteout and Soul for Sale.
I should have guessed God is your name. You've arrived to save the day with lies. Very little to surprise. Hope to set the scene. I think you live in a glowing dream. Hero on your wanted list. So good of you to take the risk. Don't deny. Takes an out of touch. I think you are too tired. It's plain to see your spirit's died. I see right through you, I know your name. And you're the type that will never change.
Oh, what a song. Another one that gets the blood pumping. Really happy memories of growing up listening to that Soul for Sale early demo. Not the one that I played there, the earlier one, and then that one's a little bit more polished. It's got that spiky mod pop sound, little tinge of psychedelia. And in the video, you see that early single. That was actually another two songs. That was Orange Overdrive and The Next Big Thing. Brilliant as well. Then, like I said, they morphed into a bit of a different beast. They slimmed down with a very guitar player, brilliant guitar player Eric Lindsay, but a very different sound. They had more of a classic rock sound, still very 60s, 70s influenced. Sounds a bit like the Faces in places. But yeah, really, really good album. Now, why am I showing this now though? So track number 5, Shine On You, was written by Whiteout and a guy called Sammy Kushnigan, who played in another band called the Lucy Baines Band. This is one of my favourite singles of all time. Again, another band from the 90s. A 5-piece. Really, really good. Sammy Kushnigan's got a brilliant voice. He played in loads of local bands. He's got a great kind of garage rock voice. And this is just a great single. Find a Little Love. The A-side is a bit of a kind of blue-eyed soul stomper. And then Bubblegum Blues. The B-side is a cool little garage rocker. What a single, what a song. The A-side, like I said, is absolutely amazing as well, but I love Bubblegum Blues. This single never failed to get the dance floor packed back in the early 90s. And speaking of packed dance floors and discos in Greenock in the early 90s, this guy here, Rab McGovern, was the guy who wrote it. And one night after one of those nights, probably at Rico's nightclub, he bundled me into a taxi with his pal. His pal worked in my dad's barber shop, and the two of them bundled me into a taxi and took me up to a flat but ensued a night of debauchery, and I was shown how to play the chords to Bubblegum Blues. So a real coming of age night for me, but yeah, it was really cool night. And his friend who worked in my dad's shop, Chops was his name, he used to get me their early demos, so I had all the Lucy Baines band's early demos, and they were brilliant, really good. Won't You Come Around is an amazing song as well. In fact, they were packed with great songs. It's a shame again that these guys didn't release an album. I believe they were signed to Fergal Sharkey's record label, and I think, was it some kind of legal wrangle? It went bust, and it didn't happen, which was a real shame, because they were a great band with great songs. Finally then, the last band that we're going to talk about, Rob McGovern's brothers band. Tony McGovern was in the Smiles, and they are brilliant. Again, a kind of mod pop sound to them, definite 60s influence, a real Steve Marriott influence. Tony really sounded like Steve Marriott live. They didn't capture in the recording studio what they did live. This is a good single, Say Something, backed with Slow Day Monday and Love Light. Yeah, good 4-piece band. That's them there. He was the lead singer, and like I said, it was unfortunate that they never had their album put out. He ended up joining Texas as their rhythm guitarist and backing vocalist, and the drummer, this guy here, I believe he went on to join the Reindeer Section, yeah, the kind of Scottish indie supergroup. Yeah, really good band, the Smiles. And they appeared on TFI Friday, and it looked as if they were going to kind of go into the stratosphere, because they're almost like a perfect pop band. Played TFI Friday, and then for whatever reason, it just didn't happen for them. But yeah, a real shame. But talking about TFI Friday, that reminds me of that old joke. Knock knock, who's there? Chris Evans.
I'd like to say that you don't understand, but who am I to judge if you can't or can? You're standing at the bar with another man. And if you had the strength, would you take the chance? The key to what you hold is your own advance. You know that you've become the one and only girl. You look so good, all you feel is sad to see the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. And now you feel sad, it's so lonely. The future's yours to steal or throw it away. I saw you once before, is it just a friend? I'd like for you to walk with me hand in hand. And if I was to ask, would it make more sense? More sense and sympathy for one who has no intent to make you what you are, I can now present. But gives me something different to this lonely girl. You look so good, all you feel is sad. It's the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. And now you feel sad, it's so lonely. The future's yours to steal or throw it away. It's not the end of the world. And now you feel sad, it's so lonely. The future's yours to steal or throw it away. It's not the end of the world. And now you feel sad, it's so unreal. The future's yours to steal, to throw it away. It's not the end of the world. And now you feel sad, it's so unreal. so good. All you feel is sad, it's the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. All you feel is sad and so unreal. The future's yours to steal, you're falling away. It's not the end of the world. And now you feel is sad and so unreal. The future's yours to steal. I said the future's yours to steal. I said the future's yours to steal. You're falling away.
So there we have it, 4 great bands from the 90s I loved listening to growing up. Like I said, I love demos, I love home recordings, little live recordings of local bands. It's brilliant, mixtapes, all that kind of thing, and I've got loads and loads of that type of stuff. Let's see, I'll show you a few of these other ones. Singles of friends. Some of these I might play at a later date. If people like this video, I'll play other ones. I've got cassettes of my own band, doing little recordings, friends' bands. That's quite a cool one. Another friends' band. One of my friends had a recording studio, so he did lots of different recordings. Let's see some of these. That's a cool one, the Yo-Yo Sampler. Lots of cool local bands that recorded this in a local college. Struts, one of my friends' bands. It's my mate who had the recording studio. There's another one. There's loads of great stuff on there. And then even things like, just even little home mixtapes. When my son was really young, when he was like about 6 or 7, I gave him a hard drive full of hundreds of thousands of songs, and he used to love going through this hard drive and making up little mixtapes. So he made make up like these elaborate mixtapes and then do this crazy cover art for them. But I love these. He's got on like Rufus Thompson, Funky Chicken, the next song, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, Truly Scrumptious, David Bowie, Moon Age Daydream. Yeah, bizarre track listings, but yeah, his covers were phenomenal. I love these. The Pixies, The Fall. Good taste for a young lad. Rock and Roll All Night, Kiss, Big Kilmarnock Bonnet, Aidan Moffat, Radio Free Europe, R.E.M., God Save the Queen, The Sex Pistols, Country Girl, Primal Scream. So yeah, I've got absolutely tons of these little home mixtapes made by my son. Tons of demos. I need to show them again at some other point. But yeah, tell me what you thought of those bands. If you liked the songs, who did they remind you of? What did they sound like? Do you think they should have went on to bigger or better things, or should they be best resigned to the annals of music history? If you've got that type of thing in your own collection, I would love to hear it as well. I love to hear local bands and little demos and those kind of curiosities. So yeah, if you want to push out a video like this yourself, full of bands from your own local scene, or maybe even your own band, I would love to hear that as well. Until the next time, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you later. Bye for now.